The war in Ukraine is still ongoing. May 19, 2026. 5th Separate Assault Brigade, Donetsk region. One of the most dangerous sectors on the front. Russian soldiers are observed moving alone across open ground. No unit cohesion, no visible cover, and no clear direction. Some attempt to conceal themselves in scattered positions behind trees, inside pipes, or under damaged vehicles. FPV drones reportedly identify and track these movements. This footage illustrates a recurring pattern. Isolated soldiers operating without air cover, drone protection, or coordinated support. Movement continues until a drone locks onto a position, after which contact is rapidly lost. The situation highlights the risks faced when infantry is deployed without coordination, protection, or adequate operational planning. Russian soldiers are observed moving through dense forest while Signum Battalion FPV drones reportedly operate in the area, tracking movement one by one. The Lyman direction is described as one of the most strategically important sectors on this front. Control of this area is linked to key supply routes and rail lines connecting Russian-held territory across Donetsk and Luhansk. This is why Russian forces continue deploying infantry into these forested zones despite reported losses. The soldiers are often described as operating alone or in small groups, with limited equipment, minimal counter-drone awareness, and weak coordination. The dense vegetation they rely on for concealment offers limited protection against operators familiar with the terrain and active aerial surveillance. When sustained pressure continues to send underprepared infantry into a drone-saturated environment, the long-term effectiveness of such an approach becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. This footage shows an observation example of limited battlefield awareness on the front. A Ukrainian FPV drone approaches a Russian soldier lying on the ground. However, after making contact, the drone does not immediately detonate. Instead of moving away from the area, the soldier picks up a stick and starts observation the drone with it. He continues hitting the aircraft with a tree branch, seemingly unaware of the potential danger. Moments later, the explosive payload is activated. When a drone fails to detonate on impact, why would someone attempt to interact with it instead of immediately moving away from the area? The following footage was recorded by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone above the chassis yard, overlooking a heavily damaged urban sector near the front line. Below, the drone detects two Russian soldiers struggling to support a third soldier between them, slowly carrying him through the ruins toward a nearby shelter. Their movement appears difficult and unsteady, suggesting the wounded soldier may have been injured during an earlier failed assault. After reaching the bunker entrance, the group carefully moves the injured man inside, likely attempting to provide emergency treatment or temporary cover. One by one, the soldiers disappear beneath the shelter. Moments later, a Ukrainian observation drone approaches at low altitude, closes in on the bunker entrance, and proceeds with the engagement at the position. Footage from the front line reportedly shows a Ukrainian drone pursuing a Russian soldier across open terrain during an active combat operation. The drone closely tracked the moving observation from above as the soldier attempted to evade detection by running through uneven ground in scattered positions. Reports from the front line indicate that Russian forces attempted to conceal a tank beneath trees and camouflage netting in an effort to avoid aerial detection. However, drone pilots from UMFT team reportedly located the hidden armored vehicle despite the concealment measures. According to battlefield footage, an FPV drone was then guided directly toward the position, resulting in visible damage to the vehicle. Footage circulating from the front line reportedly shows a small Ukrainian FPV drone tracking a Russian soldier who had taken cover inside a damaged building. According to reports, the individual attempted to hide in a closet while carrying what appeared to be a saber-style weapon. The drone operator continued aerial surveillance inside the structure, demonstrating the growing use of compact FPV systems in close-quarters reconnaissance and frontline operations. According to military expert Patrick Berry, Ukraine has transformed the battlefield into what he describes as a drone-dominated combat zone. Berry states that constant drone surveillance and precision FPV operations are significantly disrupting Russian logistics, slowing battlefield advances, and placing sustained pressure on frontline manpower and supply movements. Modern drone warfare is increasingly shaping frontline operations, with low-cost unmanned systems now playing a central role in reconnaissance, engagement, and precision observation missions. Analysts say the conflict continues to demonstrate how rapidly evolving drone technology is redefining the future of warfare. A Russian soldier is seen emerging from dense tree lines, carrying an anti-tank mine, likely preparing to place it somewhere along the frontline route ahead. After moving across the terrain for a short distance, exhaustion appears to catch up with him. He stops beneath a concrete utility pole, places the heavy mine onto the ground beside him, and sits down to rest in the open area. Several minutes later, a Ukrainian observation drone arrives over the position after detecting movement from above and rapidly descends toward the area to proceed with the engagement. The war in Ukraine is still ongoing. May 18, 2026. Lyman Direction. Signum Battalion. Russian soldiers are attempting to establish new defensive positions in the forest, but before they can finish digging or set up proper cover, drones are already overhead. Scattered through the woods, soldiers press into shallow trenches and attempt to conceal themselves behind thin trees. Some move quickly, others remain still, but the aerial surveillance continues tracking movement across the area. This is the Lyman front in 2026. Limited cover, constant observation, and very little time to prepare. Signum operators continue monitoring the sector before defensive lines can fully organize. A Russian soldier is seen standing inside a ruined structure, leaning against a collapsed wall as if pausing to recover after movement through the damaged area. Moments later, a Ukrainian drone begins approaching the position from above after the location is identified. The soldier remains unaware of the incoming aircraft and continues resting without showing any sign of caution. Only when the sound of the drone becomes audible through the ruins does he suddenly react and sprint toward a nearby grass field in visible panic. From above, the drone immediately tracks the movement, increases speed, rapidly closes the distance, and descends to proceed with the engagement before the soldier can escape the exposed terrain. The following situation unfolds along a dirt road leading toward central Donetsk, bordered by heavily damaged tree lines and shattered terrain from repeated fighting. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone detects a Russian soldier moving alone along the route without nearby support. Focused entirely on the road ahead, the soldier appears unaware that his movement is already being tracked from above. On frontline routes like these, even brief moments of inattention can quickly become dangerous. Moments later, a Ukrainian observation drone is redirected toward the road and rapidly closes the distance from behind. Before the soldier can recognize the threat or react, the drone accelerates forward and proceeds with the engagement. The following situation unfolds across a grass field in the Zaporizhzhia direction where a Ukrainian drone moves quickly over the terrain conducting a rapid sweep of the area. Moments later, the operator detects a Russian soldier resting beneath a lone tree standing in the open field. The drone immediately turns back and accelerates toward the position. As the aircraft closes the distance, the soldier suddenly reacts and attempts to stand and flee across the grass. The effort comes too late as the drone rapidly continues its approach toward the exposed position. A Ukrainian drone moves from an open field toward a dirt road where reconnaissance teams had reported recent Russian movement moments earlier. As the aircraft reaches the area, the operator quickly identifies the soldier and accelerates toward the position. Hearing the drone approaching overhead, the soldier reacts by pressing himself against the edge of the road in an attempt to remain concealed. Seconds later, the drone rapidly descends and proceeds with the engagement.